What's up, guys? It's Double Rim here, and holy shit. Holy fucking shit. Warriors win game 4 on the back of motherfucking Steph Curry, okay? Steph Curry had 43 points, and this may be hyperbolic. I may be overreacting a little bit, but in my opinion, that was his best game of his entire career. Right? He's obviously got his 62 that he scored last year in Portland. Sad to see that one. I'm in Portland right now, actually. It was sad to see that. He had his amazing 2016, OKC game, and he had some amazing games in the run. He's had some amazing playoff games, and everything. But to me, this was the best playoff game he's ever played because they needed every point. They needed every single point. It was a low-scoring game. He almost had 50%. He had 43 of the Warriors' 107 points. And in the fourth quarter, he made some huge shots. He made the right passes, and man, was this a special Curry game. I want to rewatch this one because Steph Curry, man, is something else. This is his, even if the Warriors lose this series, even if they lose, you can't knock Curry. You literally cannot knock Curry. He literally got injured last game, and he drops 43 this game. This is a legendary game, and this is one of those games that will live on in the Curry memory once he retires. And this is one of those games that you'll point to, like Game 4, 2022, baby. Watch that. That's Steph Curry, man. He's that good. Warriors, now to stop gushing about the man. We'll talk about the game a little bit. So, what did I notice? What was going on? I hate to be so simplistic sometimes, but overarching themes of the game. Warriors brought the hustle and brought their high motor on defense, got a bunch of steals, and got a bunch of offensive rebounds. But they were shooting really poorly, so they especially needed them. Missed a lot of open shots. Wiggins missed a lot. I mean, you miss open shots every game, but it seemed like Wiggins in particular missed a lot. Obviously, Draymond missed a bunch. But other than that, I don't know. The Warriors played a pretty solid offensive game. Jordan Poole gave them some nice spark plug minutes and really kept them afloat for a stretch there in the, I think, second quarter when Curry was on the bench. He scored 8 points in a row. Really nice run there by JP. Klay Thompson, I don't know, I just finished watching the game, so I don't know any of the stats. I haven't checked the box scores. The box scores aren't super important, but Klay, he didn't have a great game. He hit a huge three, though, in the fourth to put the Warriors, to either put them up one or put them down two, or get them back in within two. But he hit a big three in the fourth. But other than that, he was kind of missing a lot of his open shots, too. Draymond Green, man. The Warriors made their most impactful run in the fourth quarter when Draymond Green was sitting. And Kerr was kind of doing this thing where if it was an out of bounds, if the ball went out of bounds or there was a foul and it was a defensive possession, he'd sub Draymond in. And if it was an offensive possession, he'd sub Poole in. And sometimes Draymond would be left out for a few possessions. And I think that really helped the Warriors offense because, as we know, he is really bad on offense unless they're double teaming Curry. And if they're double teaming Curry, Draymond he's really good at the 4-on-3 stuff. But other than that, that's his main off. And then his two offensive, the only things he does on offense are 4-on-3s, which he's really good at, and then screens and dribble handoffs. And to a certain point that, it's helpful, but Looney can do the screens too and the dribble handoffs. And they weren't double teaming Curry much most of the game, so Draymond's 4-on-3 ability isn't even work. I mean, he's not even that great of a passer. He's sloppy with the ball, makes bad passes, can't dribble that well. I don't know why the ball's in his hands so much. It honestly hurts the Warriors, but whatever. I digress. So that's kind of the Warriors side. GP2 came in, helped him on defense, just played a solid GP2 game. Only a few points, but just good on defense. Otto Porter Jr. missed some open shots too, but he played fine. Looney's awesome, man. Looney plays such good D. He is so good at offensive rebounding. It's crazy. He just fucking He just like sucks the ball. It's like he just sucked it to his hands. He's like suction cups on there. Um, who else? Who else? Oh, Wiggins. Wiggins also like if I had to rank the playoffs by players, let's just say this series too. Players, best players on the Warriors this series: Curry, Wiggins, Looney are the top three. It feels like it really does, man. It's so funny. So when you're getting that kind of production, Curry's gonna have to score 43 because if Clay doesn't score 20 or Poole doesn't score 20 and Wiggins doesn't score 20, it's like okay, we really need some help. I'm hoping Wiggins can have a good game, like high scoring, big game, and Clay too next game. But other than that, that's pretty much sums it up for the Warriors side. Like I already said, they had a lot higher motor on defense and offensive rebounding. And seemed to play better defense just in general. Obviously, there's still some open shots given up. There's open shots every game, but it was definitely not as bad as game one, especially. And it seems like they had a lot of effort on the closeouts. Something I think they should do too is we saw in the Miami series, Jaylen Brown really struggles to dribble the ball. I think we really just need more GP2 on Jaylen Brown, just to ball pressure him, just to get his hands in there because he's not the best dribbler. Now, on the Celtics side of things, I've been watching the Celtics since January for the most part. Like, once they started doing good, I was like, all right, I'll start watching them, I like watching good teams. If it's a team I don't root for, then, I like watching good teams. But the Celtics, it was a classic Celtics game, especially in these playoffs, win one, lose one. They just were a little sloppier with the ball than Wednesday, They were a little sloppier. They just got out-hustled. Like, it was just those little things that really killed them. They were making some tough shots. Obviously, some tough shots were being hit. Derek White continues to be shooting amazing this finals, which is just so baffling because he was bricking everything before, so who knows if that'll continue. Tatum also is really, really struggling, man. I think it's his shoulders hurt. So that's probably it. But it's weird because the Celtics, obviously they need Tatum. But man, they're such a team. They've been playing really great as a team. Marcus Smart's been contributing. Robert Williams playing awesome. Super impactful when he was in. He was definitely, I haven't checked the plus minus, but it felt like he was a plus today for sure. It just felt like the Celtics were always getting ahead when Rob was in. Kind of surprised they went away from him, but it's obviously because, Curry will ISO on him in the late stages of the game, and that's not good for the Celtics because he does tend to play drop, and Curry hits a lot of threes off drop, obviously. Grant Williams continues to be a non-factor in this series, which it's crazy. If you told me Tatum's going to play awful the first 4 games and Grant Williams is not even really going to play much at all, like Grant Williams and Tatum are going to play horrible the first 4 games, I would be like, oh, Warriors up. Warriors sweep. But that's not been the case here, man. Because the Celtics are such a good team. Al Horford makes big shots. Marcus Smart continues to make tough shots. Man, Draymond Green needs to learn how to shoot. He really just does. From Marcus Smart, from anyone, man. Anyways, Jaylen Brown had a great game. He's been so good against the Warriors because they're not really taking advantage of his weaknesses. And he's just been getting in the paint, taking tough shots, attacking Draymond. Like, that's the other thing, too, why Draymond can't be playing. Because Jaylen Brown is attacking him one-on-one over and over again and scoring a lot. And if Draymond can't one-on-one defend Jaylen Brown, he might as well be out of the game. Because his main value as a defender is as a defender. And if he's getting torched on defense, then what the heck is he doing out there? That's like 80% of his values on the defensive end. So, yeah, that's tough. But kudos to Jaylen Brown. He's hitting tough shots, man. He's been playing amazing so far. Derek White, like I said, Grant Williams. Peyton Pritchard, he didn't really have any impact on the game. Let me think. Yeah, I already mentioned Al. I already mentioned Rob, Grant, Tatum, Brown, Smart, Derek White. And Pritchard. That's their whole rotation. So, yeah, great game. Probably one of the best games of the playoffs so far for sure. It's just nice and close, some back and forth going, some huge shots, some crazy stuff going on. Also, I don't, in my younger days, right, I used to think the NBA might be rigged. And I might have said this on the channel before. I used to think it might be rigged. After watching the NBA, see, this is the problem. A lot of people only watch the playoffs, so they think it's rigged. But if you watch the NBA like religiously over a long period of time, so for example, over the last 2 years, I've probably watched at least, well, I've watched pretty much every Warriors playoff game this year, and I've watched a bunch of the Celtics ones too, and Milwaukee ones. Like I've watched probably 40 playoff games ish. We'll say 40-ish playoff games, and then in the last 2 years, I've probably watched 220 NBA games, maybe 200 around, right? So I've seen a lot of NBA, and the refs, they make mistakes like this all the time throughout the season. There's no rigging going on. They make mistakes, but there was definitely, maybe I'm biased because I like Curry, but it just feels like he always gets a tough whistle. It just feels like he should always have more free throws than he does, especially since he's so small and getting hammered in there a lot. Whereas big guys will get feather touched and go to the line. And obviously, I'm probably biased in that statement, though, to be honest. But yeah, there's just some weird calls. Curry got obviously fouled on this 3-pointer 2 times in a row. He literally hit 2 tough-ass threes in a row, got fouled on both of them. Wasn't called. Some weird tic-tac, But overall, the game was pretty well reffed, I will say. But just those 2 late calls were questionable. It was like late in the fourth, too. But other than that, thought it was a fairly reffed game. Nothing super egregious. I don't know who was on the crew tonight. And whoever was did a great job. Anyways, I think that's it, though. Double Rim out. Have a nice day, folks.